Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
Don't ask me to talk.
And we're back with another episode of Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder, one of your podcast pals.
Hey, everybody. It is Stacey Heller. I am your other podcast pal. I'm actually remote today. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, welcome to our listeners out there. And Stacey, where in the world is Stacey Heller?
I am in Sedona. It is my first time here. I am sitting at this house, friends of mine. I am house and dog sitting, and I am looking at something. I don't know if this is an official name, but they described it as Elephant Rock. So it's the red rocks, and it looks like an elephant with its tusk up, and you can see the ear. It's super cool, and it's the view from the office where I'm sitting. So it's amazing here. And I realized when I said I'm coming to you remote, most of our listeners are remote. Hello, that's the way podcasts and radio works.
Yeah.
So we just are normally in studio.
Right.
Together.
Yeah. Exactly.
So anyway, but yeah, it is beautiful. And I got a tour yesterday.
And you've already purchased your weight in turquoise jewelry? Because I feel like that's a requirement.
No, but the crystals that are around this home are crazy. And I don't mean like they're crazy. I mean, it's a crazy amount of crystals. And I have a lot to learn. Like, do you know about vortexes?
Sure.
No, but like, did you know that there's apparently like scientifically proven vortexes around the world, and there's a few of them here in Sedona? Okay. Yeah, I know. You love this stuff. This is just so in your comfort zone, Eric. So, hey, listeners, if you haven't figured it out yet, we never met a tangent that we didn't like and that we didn't like to follow. And that's what this show is about. We immediately go off topic and just start talking about stuff. So this is a little break from the usual, the world's going to hell in a handbasket news. Instead, it's an hour of reprieve. Also, I was listening back to one of our episodes, and not that I encourage drinking too much, but if you want to play a fun drinking game, every time I say the word like, take a sip of a drink. You will be smashed. I never knew how much I said the word like before.
Yeah. Well, if they could do that, or they could play how many times does Eric say and you will be completely obliterated by the end of the episode. Episode.
So this show is very interactive if you want it to be.
Yes, exactly. If you're trying to get completely blotto, play the drinking game or the like drinking game, or both if you're really wanting to call it a night.
How do you see, I just did it. How do you eliminate when you went to radio school, which right. I know is not what you did? Is there lessons on things like that? Like, it's filler. See, I did it again. It's filler, I think. I don't know. it really bothered me. So
Yeah. It's the
I'm
same
putting
thing
it
as
out there.
You're using it for a second to formulate a thought while you're speaking. You're still formulating the sentence that you're saying. So it happens to the best of us, you know.
Okay,
It's just
well.
a little like verbal crutch that everybody, see, I just did it there. The verbal crutch that we lean on. Each, you know, people have different ones like
Well,
or you know.
I think
And
that
believe it or not,
am-
I actually edit out some of these.
you do,
But I can't
That's-
edit. I can't
that's-
edit them all out because we'd have nothing left.
That's so depressing. And when you say that it's a crutch, a verbal crutch, that makes sense. But that essentially makes me not so Tiny Tim.
Right.
So
And me as well.
anyway,
Bless
we're-
us one and all.
I think you mean like
Bless us
one and
everyone.
all.
Right. Bless us. One. And
Exactly.
everyone.
And like,
Yes.
and like all.
Right. Even Scrooge.
Anyway, so
Has there ever been a more adapted piece of literature than A Christmas Carol?
you know when the Muppets did it,
Yes. And also Mickey
and
Mouse
it was
did it.
good.
Yes.
Who did?
Mickey Mouse, the the whole
Yep.
Disney gang did it. Yep. Mickey's Carol, I believe it was called.
And I have to confess that the Muppets version
Kelsey Grammer did it at one
was
point.
good.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it was good.
Bill Murray did it, didn't he?
Probably.
I think Scrooged, maybe.
Yep. Yeah. That counts.
There's Scrooge McDuck,
Yeah.
and one could argue that.
Well, I think
Huey-
he came out of Mickey's Christmas Carol. Like, he was so popular as Scrooge that they made him
That-
Scrooge McDuck and made him a character in the regular life.
Now it begs the question.
Let me get Walt
Huey-
Disney on the phone and see if that's true.
Well, he's just frozen. We'll just defrost him.
That's right.
Huey, Louie, and Dewey. I think those are the three
His
nephews,
nephews,
or something.
right? Yeah.
Do you think that those are the ghosts of past, present, and future?
I've never thought about that, and I never will. But
Too late.
But you may be onto something.
I had another revelation the other day at dinner the other night. We went to this really cool restaurant that is in Seattle. And we were having a conversation about conspiracy theories. I was there with my family, and something came up about flat earthers. And and I was wondering, do flat earthers also think that the other planets are flat?
That's a good question. Like, maybe the moon is just a poster.
It was funny because my family, who typically gives me zero credit, they were very impressed with that question.
Yes.
And it was like, oh, I just did it. You know, did you just solve like the way to figure out flat earthers and to
There's
set
no
them
figuring
straight?
out flat
Yeah,
earthers. It doesn't
yeah.
matter how many times they're set straight or proven wrong or whatever. I mean, one of them actually died building a rocket so he could see the Earth being flat from the sky.
He
There's no
really
getting
took one
through to
for the
these
team.
folks. Yes.
Yeah, anyway. So I had, that is two interesting questions that I've asked. Huey, Dewey, and Louie, and are the other planets also flat? My brain hurts, Eric.
Well, maybe once you get in the vortex, it'll heal it.
Perhaps. There are so many sacred rocks around here to visit that I don't know if I have enough time to do it all.
Well, do what you can, I guess.
I guess so. Have you ever been to Sedona?
No.
It is, I will say this.
I've just like barely scraped the surface of Arizona because I remember crossing the border when I visited the Hoover Dam last time I was in the Las Vegas area. And I was like, oh,
Okay.
I guess I've officially been to Arizona now. And then back I went.
Well, there you go. It is interesting weather. I'm sure that it is terrible. I mean, it's the desert, right? So I'm sure in July and August it is miserable. It is lovely, though, how it gets cold at night and in the mornings, it's really chilly. And then with the sun, it feels like it's 70 something degrees or 80. And it's just beautiful.
Well, this would be the time to be there. February, I would think, would be the time to visit the desert. You go in July and you just melt.
Sounds hideous. I think all of a sudden everybody becomes, what's the reverse of a snowbird? I don't know. A water bird? That seems weird.
Just a bird, I guess, right?
I don't know. That's weird. That's very weird. So anyway, what's been new with you this week? What have you been doing? Have you missed me? It's only been a day.
Of course. Of course. I always miss you. Week to
you're
week.
such a good liar.
Not at all, but it's been kind of a blah week. Over the weekend, battling with a washing machine that was leaking and could not figure that out. So spent like 3 hours on that, and like, this is the last thing I want to be doing with a Saturday, but it happens. Then also one of our cars started throwing up some potentially big and expensive airs.
Oh.
And then Gertie, my dog, did not appear to be feeling well. She like puked and she was like limping around, and I'm like, oh no. It's like, is everything just broken in my life now? It's just one of those days where it was all like within a couple of days. It was just and I'm happy to say with Gertie, she went from like, that wasn't her, but it sounds like you've got a canine friend with you. Yes.
I do. Which I want to talk about. So go on. She
went from being like, remember in E.T. when he turns all gray and he's like, Elliot. And, and then the scientists are all around him and stuff. And she went from being like gray E.T. to being like full on, Bart Simpson running around being crazy, causing trouble within, I want to say, 6 hours. So she's back to her old self, which is good. The car is in the shop now, so I'm waiting to see how many thousands of dollars that's going to cost me. And I'm waiting on a part for the washing machine. So.
And how's the treadmill? Any luck on the treadmill?
I haven't had a chance to get back to that yet. So.
Okay, now, speaking of dogs, as you could hear.
Yeah. That's why you're down in Arizona, right? You're dog sitting.
It is. So here's the deal. I know that you don't necessarily believe in this stuff, and there's a lot of people that don't. I do believe sort of in, I don't know, some higher power, whether you call it God, universe, whatever, right? So I was having a conversation with Greg Kuiper, who I used to do a podcast with. You know Greg.
Yeah.
You produced his podcast for him.
Good guy.
Really good guy. And he and his wife, Annette, moved to Sedona a couple years ago. And I haven't spoken to him forever. He dropped me like a hot potato once he moved to Sedona. And so that's
dropped it like a hot rock.
Exactly. A lava rock. And so they have made a really wonderful life for themselves and their dog Vera here. And a friend of mine who has recommended Greg's podcast to people. Greg's podcast was all about marriage counseling and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She reached out and she said, this gal that I referred to the podcast to wants to know if Greg is still practicing. And I was like, I don't know. Good question. So I reached out to Greg. We did a Zoom, we connected, and I was telling him about what's going on in my life. And there's just a lot of, Pete's in transition with his work. I'm in transition. The only thing that's consistent is I like to talk. Right. So anyway, he was like, hey, come to Sedona. It's a really healing place. It would be a nice break for you. And you can house and dog sit.
Yeah.
So.
And I believe anytime you can take a break, that's a healing thing.
Yes. So it was sort of like the universe opened up a door and said, "I dare you to walk through it." Now, this sounds silly. I mean, I'm going to be 55 in a month. You would think that I've traveled by myself before. I've never gone for almost 2 weeks by myself to someplace I've never been.
Hmm.
I've gone to visit family, or I've gone to our lake house or something like that, but I've never gone by myself. So it's really interesting for me. It is definitely like it's one giant dare for me to see, like, hey, man, are you going to do this? The biggest thing I'm adjusting to is having a dog. I need help.
Well, that's healing in itself.
It is.
There's study after study after study that shows that pets are, stress relievers. Just being in their presence, being able to pet them, it goes such a long way towards, improving our moods and just giving us good vibes, to put it in Sedona language.
Thanks, man. Well, and I have cats, but cats are kind of a-holes. And
that's not fair.
Well, I love them and I love them, but they're sort of like it's on my terms. Whereas, so Vera is the dog. Vera is 13. Vera is deaf. And she is so sweet. And it's been so interesting learning the tics of like a dog. A cat can just go in the litter box to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And learning what a dog's potty dance is helps that I've had kids. And,
So they don't have a dog door?
They don't have a dog door.
Okay.
Out here, there's apparently some boar-like animal that
probably
would go
like
after
scorpions and coyotes and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they have a fenced area, but definitely you hang out with Vera. And this morning I had a really early morning call, and I was like, with the time difference, and yesterday I was up at 3 a.m. to get here and all this stuff, I thought I'm going to climb back into bed. Vera was like, girl, I don't think that's what you're going to do. I think you're going to get up, and I think you're going to take me for a walk, and you're going to get out in the sunshine. So Vera is already like a miracle drug.
Good. Yeah.
But like, what do you do for fun with a small dog that's elderly, has a little hip issue, and is deaf? Come on, you've got Gertie.
Right? And she is most of those things. She's not deaf. She, in fact, her hearing is too good. And her nose is way too good. I don't know.
You can't convince me that Vera is actually deaf, because obviously dogs then can use all their other senses, right? Because Vera is absolutely aware of wherever I am. I get up to move, and while Vera can't hear me, Vera senses it and follows me.
She can smell you.
Yes. Yes. It's crazy. This is why dogs are known for their sniffers.
That's right.
So what tips do you have? Because the last time I had a dog, I keep asking you the question and interrupting. But the last time I had a dog was when I was a kid. And my brothers bought my mom a puppy. And the puppy apparently was a mutt. My mom took the dog to the vet, and she said, "What kind of dog is this?" And he said, "It's a mutt. It's a bunch of different varieties." So she said, "I'm going to name him Heinz, because Heinz is 57 varieties."
Right.
So anyway, I don't know how long it took, but within some period of time, the dog moved to a farm in New Jersey, according to my now deceased father. And nobody knows to this day, because he took it to his grave, what happened to the dog, actually.
So was this like within like a couple weeks of having the dog? He just didn't like the dog, or?
I think the dog, my mom had 3 kids. I was under 7.
Mm-hmm.
So that means my brothers were 12 and 15 or something. Clearly, they didn't want it. Maybe the dog was untrainable, or maybe my parents were untrainable, which is highly likely. And my dad didn't love the dog, and we went, my mom and my brothers and me went on some trip, and when we came back, the dog was gone. So I don't know if the
Wow.
dog got out and my
Uh,
dad like just let it keep running, or if my dad hit the dog by accident because it
wow.
got out, or if it literally went to a farm in New Jersey. I have no
Uh-huh.
idea. So
Wow.
this is also healing like childhood trauma,
Yeah.
right? I'm like, what happened to the dog? I'm going to go to one of the vortexes and be like, what happened to the dog?
Maybe you can connect with Heinz psychically.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? Anyway.
Well, anyway, tips for dealing with dogs. It sounds like you're doing great. All they want is a warm, comforting presence.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
And treats. They really
Well,
want treats. Yes.
I've really nailed the treats thing, I think. And I figured out how to put the leash on because, like, the little body harness thing,
Uh-huh.
that was like interesting. But then playing, I'm like, do you have to play with the dog, or does the dog just like pick up a toy and just start playing with it?
Honestly, it depends on what kind of dog it is. Like Gertie, she's a beagle mix. She doesn't play with toys. She ignores them. All she cares about is food and treats. And she wants to go when she's on walks. She doesn't want to walk. She wants to smell stuff.
I think Gertie and Vera might be the same type of dog.
Right.
I'm going to have to ask.
So she goes on what we call a sniffari when we're
that's so
out and
cute.
about. So you got to be patient and let them stop and smell the roses. Literally, that's what makes her happy, is being able to smell different things. And she gets a lot of information. It's like reading a book for her. So, and a lot of dogs are like that, but some dogs really like to play. They'll play fetch, they'll play with their toys and stuff, but it really depends on the dog and their personality and their breed, really.
Okay.
So,
I'll have to find out what kind of dog Vera is.
yeah, you can try playing with her, pick up a toy and try and, wiggle it near her and see if that sparks any interest. And if she just ignores it, then she's probably not the kind of dog that plays, which is totally fair.
She seems to be a snuggler.
That's nice.
It is nice.
Yeah.
Yesterday, so Greg and Annette have a 3-seater reclinable lounge chair thingamajig. I don't know. It's like Lego movie vibes. And so they can all recline and whatever. Well, Vera sits in the middle between, obviously, Greg and Annette. And so I was reclining last night watching a movie, and Vera just climbed right on my lap and was like, rub me.
Aww.
And it was very sweet. So we're getting along, but I just wasn't sure if there was anything that I'm missing. But it sounds like
you're doing fine.
Like it's just intuitive.
Yeah, I mean that's the beautiful thing about older dogs. They're kind of like cats in that they can take care of themselves, essentially. You got to let them out to go potty, of course. You got to give them food at their scheduled meal times. But for the most part, they're not interested in like destroying stuff anymore. They're tired. They're like older people, They just want to relax and take it easy and get some stimulation with a nice walk every now and again,
All right. So it's like old people habits, like what we talked about last week.
Exactly. They probably like oatmeal too.
Yeah. Have you had any more oatmeal mishaps?
Not mishaps, but I have had plenty more oatmeal since I started being on this kick. Sometimes I get on a kick and then, I get tired of it and or I like stop doing it for a while and then forget about it, So we'll see how long this has lasted. So far, it's like 3 weeks in a row I've been doing this, and it's been going pretty well, and I'm enjoying it.
That's impressive. I have to say, I had to chuckle when I was traveling and I had my bag and my bag and my bag. And we were talking about that with old people habits last week. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, yep, there it is. It's rearing its ugly head.
Well, like I said, I think traveling is the time when you do want to have bags and bags and bags, because you're putting your dirty clothes in one of them. You're putting your, your liquids, or not liquids, but If
Yeah, yeah.
any TSA people are
Toiletries
listening.
and all that stuff.
Yeah, toiletries, yeah, etc. Shampoo, whatnot. So
Yeah, but anyway. All right. Do we need to take a break here?
yeah, we're pretty much due for one. So let's do that. We'll come back, and we actually should get to our topic here eventually.
All right, but I want to see if you've watched any movies before we do that. So let's hurry up and come back.
Yeah, we'll do that. And our topic today, by the way, is hero or sidekick. We'll find out more about that when we come back. So stay tuned.
Don't ask me to talk.
Hey, I'm Stacey Heller. I'm one of your podcast pals, along with Eric Ryder from Don't Ask Me to Talk. Are you liking what you're listening to? Awesome. We would love if you would follow us on social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram as Don't Ask Me to Talk. We also are wherever you find your favorite podcast. You can follow us, subscribe, like, rate, whatever it is that you do. You can also email us. That's asking@don'taskmetotalk.com. And if you'd like, text or leave us a voicemail at 475-999-2726. Basically, we'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening.
And we're back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder, one of your podcast pals.
I'm Stacey Heller. All right. So before the break, we were talking about dogs. Eric was giving me tips since he has one, and I'm babysitting one, dog sitting one. Now, we typically talk about cultural blind spots and movies and things.
Right. Yeah. And my ongoing project to watch a lot of the things that have been cultural blind spots for me my whole life. For instance, I've been watching the 007 series, the James Bond movies, and I've made it through like 6 of those. That project, I think, is on pause for the moment because none of my subscriptions are having Bond movies for free on their platforms at the moment. So I'm sure they're going to pop up again within, a couple months, and then I'll pick up from there. But at the moment, I didn't watch any like classic movies that people would go, oh, you haven't seen this last week. But I did watch, partially because you recommended it on, I think, last week's episode. I did watch Conclave, which is streaming on Peacock right now, and it was really good. It was really good, and I enjoyed it. And it made me think that it was like the Crying Game, Vatican style.
Right?
There was
such a twist at the end.
There was some international intrigue. There was some, don't spoil the twist things. There was all kinds of stuff that I didn't expect from a movie about them selecting the next pope.
Well, and I failed to look up to see if that's the process that actually happens and how true to life that is. But it is, I thought of this when I read in the news, I think yesterday maybe, that the current pope has been hospitalized. He's having some issues.
He's got double pneumonia, apparently.
Yep. And so I was like, oh no, are we going to have a conclave? What's going to happen?
It's entirely possible.
I know. And so it made me think of that.
Do you want a conclave? Because that's how you get a conclave, Pope.
Exactly. You do not want a conclave.
You don't want a conclave.
Because I'm afraid of, we try not to get political on this show, but I don't need anything else to go backwards. Thank you very much.
Right.
So, our current pope has done a lot for the church.
All those performances in this movie were great, I thought.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. I mean, I forgot how cute. I clearly have like a type. Because I forgot how cute Ralph Fiennes is. I was like, oh, he's cute. And I also think Ed Norton from A Complete Unknown, the Bob Dylan movie, I thought he was cute.
Edward
Norton.
He's in that?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
You need to see it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get around to it.
Well, I'm glad that you saw it, because especially as somebody who was raised Catholic, I think it's an interesting thing, and you can take into it whatever you want. Now,
well, the one thing that blew me away is they did an amazing. There's no way that this was set. that they built, like in Pinewood Studios or whatever. And so wherever because I can't imagine the Vatican saying, sure, come on in, film a major motion picture here. But wherever they selected for their sets to represent the Vatican, incredible scouting job by those people, because it really, really looked like that was the Vatican.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just fascinating. And, everything in the Vatican is so grandiose, right?
Right.
And but then also simultaneously cloistered, I mean, literally. So it was interesting, the big scale, but also like the intrigue and the conversations on the stairwells and the rooms that they all go into. And it was just fascinating. If you haven't seen it, definitely watch it, folks. Whatever your religious beliefs are, if you're super, super conservative, you may not love it.
And you know what? I just looked up where it was shot, and apparently it was at Cinecittà Studios in Italy, in Rome. So it's entirely possible that they did build those sets, which is wild to me because they really looked lived in and authentic, and whoever their set designer is deserves like all the awards because that was pretty amazing.
That was amazing.
Yeah. So 2 thumbs up from us on Conclave, I guess.
The thing that I have been watching is the Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie 3-part docuseries. Do you know about it?
Okay. And what is this on? Because I've never heard of it.
It is on Netflix.
Okay.
Do you know the story?
No.
Okay. All right. So clearly we need to expand the definition of cultural blind spot.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'll tell you right now that I've got some big cultural blind spots that I'm never going to address. Sports, just don't care.
Yeah.
I know that's the biggest thing in the world forever. Just don't care. Not interested. Never will be. Never had it. Never will. Second is going to be reality TV of any stretch. Not interested. Never will be. Never going to watch it. Don't care. Sorry.
Okay. So far, we have those 2 in common.
Yes. And so, yeah, anything involving those 2 things, it takes a lot for me to have interest in those. And like celebrity gossip, another thing, not interested. Don't care. So, and I don't feel like any of those things are actually really enriching. I feel like, they're guilty pleasures for folks, and please enjoy them and whatever puts a smile on your face. But it's not like something that you get actual growth out of. So, and by no means am I judging anybody for enjoying those, because I'm sure I have plenty of stuff that's like that. That's just fluff that I enjoy, don't care, like all the music magazines that I read over the years. It's fluff. I don't expect other people to care. That's like that. So, and this to me sounds like it falls into these categories.
Well, it does and it doesn't. So it's clearly not sports, and I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
It reads like reality TV because, reality TV these days is for like shock and salaciousness, right? They're not celebrities. And this is something that happened back in late summer into September of, I think, 2021. So we're still sort of in the pandemic and, stuff is still going on. And this news report sort of started gripping the nation that this young woman, 22, 23, went missing somewhere.
Okay, so this is a true crime thing.
Yeah, it's a true crime.
True crime stuff I kind of dip in and kind of dip out of. It's like, for me, it's a little bit depressing, but sometimes you can't help but get hooked on the salacious details or the strategy involved with crime. So, for instance, like I really enjoyed the movie Zodiac. And then I went and watched the Netflix documentary, This is the Zodiac Speaking.
Yep.
And that was interesting, too. But I probably wouldn't have watched it if I hadn't enjoyed the movie about it. So I get hooked on those sometimes. But, at the end, I always kind of feel like, Boy, I really should have fast forwarded through 3 to 4 hours of this so I could just get to the last 5 minutes where they tell you who they think did it and then go check online to see if that person actually did do it. Because often they'll have these documentaries where they make a whole case about somebody doing it and then it's like quickly debunked. Yeah.
Right. They're like, well, it's unsolved.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing that was so fascinating about this is that it really played out in real time, that basically from, August through to, I think, like October or something, when his body was found, it played out in this, like, it built up. There was a crescendo when her body was found, and then he goes missing simultaneously, and then his body is found with a notebook that, they can sort of decipher some of what is said. And so it just gripped so many people. And so now the Netflix special is out. As I said, it's like a docuseries. And it's just interesting because at the time you're so caught up in it. And obviously the news media makes everything a circus. So to kind of have the timeline of it, and it's just sad. I mean, the thing that is worth noting is that in these true crime stories, these are real people and there's been real consequences and real sadness there. So I don't want to make it like, ooh, thanks, consumption, yay.
Right.
And it's so sad. But it's just been, I remember it gripping me at the time, and then this has come out, and I'm like, it's just sad, and it's a waste. And to see where people fumble the bag along the way, and the decisions that are made by the police, and and they're doing the best they can. I mean, I'm not like, it's their fault. It was just an interesting one.
And what's it called again?
I think it's called Gabby Petito, but I don't know.
Gabby Petito. Okay.
So, and her parents and step parents were involved in it. And I think for them, they're like, I give them credit because they're not on there, and I'm 2.5. I'm through 2 of the episodes and half through the third. They're not like disparaging the Laundrie family and saying like horrible things. It's just like, if your kid went missing, wouldn't you want to know where they are?
Yeah, of course.
Like, so anyway, so
by the way, it's called American Murder, Gabby Petito.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, hey, listeners, if you too were gripped by this story back in 2021, then watch it, because it's interesting to see some of the detail, or hear and see some of the details that, you really didn't know, and things that have come out since.
While we're on the topic of Netflix, that reminds me that I got to make a correction, because a few weeks ago, I mentioned watching a Polish sitcom on Netflix that I called 1680, but I've since realized it's actually called 1670. So I was jumping ahead by a decade.
You were off by 10.
Yeah. So I want to clear that up for folks. I also recently referred to the recipe that I was going to make as a fruit brack. It is in fact a tea brack, which is what I meant to say. So regrets, I've had a few. Mistakes have been made. So I just want to clarify on those couple mistakes. And I'm sure there was a million others. And if you catch one, hey, be sure and let us know. Just don't be hurtful about it. It's asking@don'taskmetotalk.com. You can email us anytime you like, and we'd be very happy to hear from you.
Yeah, we would really be happy to hear from you. It's something that we have yet to hear from you through our reviews, which you can go on to Apple Podcasts. We would love to hear from you that way. And also, we'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 475-999-2726. Okay, but on that note, we really need to get to our topic here.
Yeah, let's take our quick break. We'll come right back, and we'll dive into today's major topic.
I love it. Okay, keep listening. We'll be right back with Don't Ask Me to Talk.
This is Eric Ryder reminding you to follow us on Facebook. We're at Don't Ask Me to Talk, and we're on Instagram, again, at Don't Ask Me to Talk. We'd love to hear from you, so check us out on social media and leave us a comment. Leave us a like. Remember, you can always email us directly at asking@don'taskmetotalk.com or leave us a voicemail or text at 475-999-2726. That's 475-999-2726. And we're back right here on Don't Ask Me to Talk. I'm Eric Ryder.
I am Stacey Heller.
That's right. And this is the time of the show where we talk about the topic of the day that was selected by our Wheel O Topics. And last week, the wheel selected hero or sidekick. And I always ask you what inspired this topic getting loaded onto the wheel. So today is no exception. Stacey, what inspired hero or sidekick as a topic for the Wheel of Topics to give us?
Well, thank you for asking, Eric. It's such a shock that you would ask me this.
I know. I'm sadly becoming predictable in my old age.
No, but I think it's good because then my response can be different each time and I can act surprised. So Grace, my daughter Grace, she is big in the whole Marvel universe and all of that stuff. And
hey, me too. And that reminds me, I went and saw the latest Captain America movie, Captain America Brave New World, this last week. And I gotta say, I wanted to love it, but I thought it was just okay.
Okay, and now this proves my point. I'm going to fast forward. Basically, all right, let me answer the first question before I move on. Welcome to ADHD world, folks. So, in answer to the question about why, it's just interesting, like, obviously in those movies, it's a whole bunch of heroes and that kind of thing. And I feel like there's sort of top tier heroes and, same way that in Hollywood, there's like the B list or the D list. Same thing with, D list heroes. Then there's sidekicks. There's not as many sidekicks, but, there's Batman and Robin and various sidekicks. And I just think it's interesting, like, would you rather be a hero or a sidekick? And, kind of getting into a conversation about that and thinking about that and the pressures of being the hero role, and also just sort of in life, right? Like, do you want to be the hero or sidekick? And I want to get back to, once you get pegged as a hero, I'm bringing up the Marvel thing. Harrison Ford, he's always a hero. I suspect from
he
the
wasn't
trailers,
a hero in this latest Captain America movie. Spoiler.
I know. I'm not happy about it because once you're a hero, I feel like I realize that he's an actor playing fictional parts. I'm not stupid, people. But it's like, what do you mean he's a villain? And I know we're not talking about villains today, but I'm like, no, you can't do that.
And this isn't really a spoiler because anybody that's familiar with these Marvel movies knows that the character that he's playing, Atticus Ross, has been kind of a villain over many films. Right. So now he actually replaced William Hurt, who was in the role. And as much as I love Harrison Ford, William Hurt passed on, unfortunately, but he was perfect in that role. And to your point, Harrison Ford is just so damn likable that the problem is you feel empathetic and you feel like he's a good guy even when he's playing a villain, which is rare that he plays a villain. But it's just like he's just so like you empathize with him. Right. You feel like, oh, well, if he's, if he wants to do this, then it's got to be good, right? I don't know. That was part of my issues with it. I felt like William Hurt just had a menace that Harrison Ford didn't have. So
William Hurt's always had that. I mean, back with what was the movie that like years ago? Heard It Through the Grapevine. I know that you're like, what the heck? It's with the music and the friend that died, and it was from like the 80s.
Are we talking about The Big Chill?
Yes. He was in that, and he had a sort of a menace to him. But anyway, So the hero or sidekick thing, I feel like in some ways, the pressure and the mantle that you have to carry as a hero, it makes you a little bit one-dimensional. I know they try to give backstories to these heroes and everything, but I feel like with a sidekick, there's just more interest there. And you've got to get a little resentful that you're always like on the sidelines, right?
I guess. I'm not sure I 100% understand the metaphor that we're going for here.
Well, I'm just throwing out stuff.
Aren't we always we're the heroes of our own stories? I feel like in the movies the sidekick in the dynamic duos gets short shrift because they're doing all the work of the hero. They just don't get the credit. You know what I mean? Robin's out there busting his butt in short shorts, and he's still not appreciated or respected, you know? And meanwhile, Batman has all the armor, and people are like, Batman, thank goodness you're here. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, Robin's getting pounded on by various henchmen, and nobody's like, Robin, thank goodness. You know?
I mean, they're like, okay. You're making a really good point. And then I'm taking it to real life and I'm thinking of real life scenarios where like doctors, right? It's like, oh, Dr. So-and-so delivered my baby. No, right. 100% like the nurses did all of it.
Yeah.
And like, it's almost like they're the sidekicks of like real life, right?
Right.
So you make a good point. I was just thinking like, you know, it must be not that I was being empathetic towards a hero, but like, which would you rather be? And I was thinking like, oh, a sidekick. But when you put it that way, I don't want to wear short shorts. Nobody wants to see me in short shorts. That'd be hideous.
Well, I don't think that's a requirement necessarily for being the sidekick, but it just feels like in the movies and stuff where they have a sidekick,
right.
They're getting short shrift, you know.
Yeah.
They're the ones that end up in the hospital so the hero can, feel that gravity of what they're doing, you know. So
right,
yeah,
they walk/run so that the hero can fly.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, you make a good point. I don't know, like, and as I think about it, besides Robin, who are other sidekicks? Like, I mean,
in this movie, for instance, there is a guy that because the character that became Captain America was the Falcon. Now he's got a sidekick that is the new Falcon. So he's got basically the old Falcon tech, whereas the new Captain America has this new Wakandan set that's, these special wings that, can cut through stuff. And he's got the Captain America shield and stuff now. So his sidekick is his buddy who's like inherited his hand-me-downs, and he's still out there, trying to save the day as well.
All right.
So, I feel like sidekicks get short shrift.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about the Gilligan and Skipper. Yes, folks, I'm talking about Gilligan's Island.
That's a good question with the Gilligan and Skipper. Which one of them was the hero? Which one was the sidekick? I'd say they probably both thought they were the hero and the other one was the sidekick.
I know. I agree. Because naturally you would think that the skipper is the hero, but the skipper was always so grouchy.
He's the one that crashed the boat.
Right.
Some hero.
Yeah. Right, exactly. From hero to zero in 3 short hours.
Go on, little buddy.
Well, and so then it's like, is sidekick really just another word for little buddy?
Maybe, yeah.
Right? I mean,
I like to think of Gertie as being my sidekick, but I know in reality I'm her sidekick because when we're walking, people don't care. They don't about me, They want to talk to her. They want to ask about her. They want to see how she's doing. They want to, give her all the praise in the world. And me, I'm just a faceless drone that's accompanying her.
You're her handler.
I'm her handler. That's right. Yes. She's the hero. She's the hero of any story that when we step outside.
you know what? This is good though, because like I'm in Sedona. I'm in this place where I'm supposed to be doing like this retreat and this is my hero's journey. And so you're reminding me I get to be the hero of my own story. And I'm going to pretend that Vera is my sidekick for this week or so. But in reality, I'm going to be humbled to realize that no, I'm the sidekick.
I mean, just because dogs are so cute, you know.
Well, they are so cute, and I will send you a picture, and I'll have to post on our social a picture of Vera, and maybe you could post a picture of Gertie, and they might be long lost related dogs. Who knows?
It sounds like they've got a lot in common.
Yes,
but
treats.
I can tell you that Gertie can hear the refrigerator opening from a block away, so I know that her hearing is okay.
Oh, there you go. All right. Well, that's fair. All right. Anything else you want to say about heroes versus sidekicks that I maybe missed?
Not really. I mean, I'll just say this on the Captain America movie. If you're a Marvel fan, I think you won't be bored during it, but you probably will be hopeful that the next movie is going to be better than this one. So yeah, I just want to give that disclaimer in case anybody is like freaking out, like because they loved it or they hated it, you know, whatever.
I feel like with the Marvel universe, there's sometimes vehicles to move the story along.
Yeah, that seems like
that's
one
what
of
it
those.
Seems like.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, that's fair. All right. Well, should we figure out what we're talking about for next time?
Let's do it. Yeah, I feel like this one really kind of encapsulates a lot of what the show has become recently because it's movie first time.
Oh, okay. So I know you ask me and you'll ask me when we talk about this next week, but what movie, you have to think about this, homework. What movie do you wish that you could see, or movies, for the first time again?
Oh, okay.
Yep. Like a movie that it maybe wasn't your favorite, but some movie that was like so good or so shocking or so cinematic or so like whatever that you're like, I wish I could see that again.
Experience that twist again for the first time, maybe.
Right. Or, you know, like just it made some impact. Like, you know, off the bat, I'm like, I remember watching a Fred Astaire movie, which I know like ages me because he's like dead. But like I loved those movies. And so, you know, musicals and the first time that you see those things. So I thought it would be fun to talk about some of the movies that, you know, man, I wish I could see that for the first time again.
All right. And most likely this week I will see a movie that I probably should have watched 30, 40 years ago. And we'll finally get around to watching one of those this week. And you know, as long as we got 60 seconds here, I neglected to ask you because we both dip into Saturday Night Live, and they had their big 50th anniversary special. Did you catch any of that? Any of the festivities?
I watched the concert and I watched the special. And what did you think?
I enjoyed the concert, and I thought that was pretty fun. The actual special, I've only watched about 30 minutes of it, and I thought it was fun. It was fine. I don't think this was one of their best episodes, just because the idea of mashing up characters from all different sketches like they did is more fan service than it is actually funny. So, you know, for the nostalgia purposes, I liked it, and then some of the musical team ups on the actual show itself, I thought were a little bit weak, and maybe a little undercooked. But you know, hey, everybody seemed to be having a good time, and it was fun to see all the celebrities in the world in one place at once.
I know.
So that was cool.
I think that's a fair assessment. I really loved the concert. I think Questlove does an amazing job. And
the Roots, hats off to them. They were so versatile and so incredible. Yeah.
He's just an amazing guy with what he does and his musical knowledge. It really shine through. And then you're right. The show was totally fan service, you know, but But it was fun because if you've been watching it for a long time, then you're like, that was my generation, and so on and so forth.
Yep. All right.
So.
Well, we can dip more into this next week. So be sure to tune in for another edition of Don't Ask Me to Talk next week. Have a wonderful week. Stacey, safe travels. Try not to get sucked into the vortex.
I will try. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.